Hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to our Learning to Make Video Games series. So today we're gonna take a break from Unreal Engine 4 and instead we're gonna be working with Blender. And I was thinking a little bit about Blender earlier this morning. I was thinking that Blender really is the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software. And if you haven't used Blender before, you'll find out why pretty soon. Alright, so let's get started with the Blender reference manual, Blender reference manual, and let's get started. User interface. User interface splash screen. I don't think we need to know anything about the splash screen. Title, image, date, hash. In case you want the git hash, you can have the git hash. Branch interaction. Key configuration, the same as user references input. User preferences input, my bad. Where's that? I don't see. Oh, interaction. Okay. User preferences input. We might just change the user preferences input, to be honest, because presets, 3ds Max, Blender, or Maya. We might just change this to something like 3ds Max. And this might make everything a lot easier for us. So that is a left mouse button to do that. Except I still don't have the middle mouse button for some reason. I don't know why Blender doesn't recognize my third mouse button. Let me check my what? No, that's not it. This is the what else? Okay, the mouse wheel works. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, the middle mouse button doesn't work in Blender. I can emulate a 3 mouse button, but okay, Alt is rotate. Control Alt is zoom. Shift Alt is pan. You know what? The 3ds Max control setup is a lot more familiar to me at the very least. Continuous grab. Emulate numpad. Orbit style, turntable, trackball, zoom style. Do I even have orbit? So, okay, orbit is Alt, and pan, and zoom if you want. Alright, this is fine. You don't touch the stuff. Alright, so that makes it a lot easier. We haven't even started reading this. Alright, let's go Windows system. There you go, introduction. Introduction. After starting Blender and closing the splash screen, your Blender window should look something similar to the image below. Blender's user interface is consistent across all platforms. Oh, good. Interface elements. Windows, screen, areas, editors, regions, tabs, panels, controls. Alright, I'm sure. That's a big list. The interface can be customized to match specific tasks using screen layouts, which can then be named and saved for later use. The default screen is described below. A screen is organized into one or more areas, with each area containing an editor. Right. The default screen. By default, Blender starts up showing the default screen, which is separated into 5 areas containing the editors listed below. The info editor at the top. The info editor. This is where your information is. And you'll notice that it tells you like you have 8 vertices, 6 faces, and 12 triangles. It just keeps counting your triangles for you. This is apparently the info screen. Oh, interesting. You can change this window into anything you want. Wow. Wait, what? So this is info. What if I like 3D view? But that's this down here. What if I change this to timeline? But that's that down there. What if I change the graph editor? Fascinating. You can change anything to anything else. Let me just put this back to info in case well, I definitely don't want to change it at the moment. And we have to remember that there's no middle mouse button. Usually the middle mouse button is what this is, but I have to press Alt and then use the left mouse button to access the camera controls. A large 3D view. It's a large 3D view. This in the middle here. You can change the size of it too. User perspective. I keep doing that. Set origin. Geometry to origin. Origin to geometry. Origin to 3D cursor. Oh, that's not good. So the 3D cursor. The 3D cursor is this thing. You can put the 3D cursor anywhere you want. Although I'm not used to having this thing here, but what happens, I guess, is when you create a thing, it'll put it on the 3D cursor. Yeah, there you go. So you can kind of just put the 3D cursor anywhere, and then they'll snap to that. But you can also change the position of things here too. I guess it's up to you to decide what kind of workflow you want to use. All right, a timeline at the bottom. So it gives you a timeline by default. So basically, like you're animating by default, which you can play the animation. We don't have an animation. Let me just go back to the start. How hard is it to animate? Object mode, texture paint, weight paint, vertex paint, sculpt mode, edit mode, object mode. So what if I say add marker, and then oh wait, no, don't move that. And then I go forward to there, I move this to here, and I go add marker. Now what happens if I play backwards? No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do what you think it does. I should not do this. Alright, let's not messing around with markers. See, I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm messing around and just kind of clicking on things. In a way, I'm testing how intuitive the user interface is, right? Because some programs and most games, you can just start clicking buttons and you can figure out how to use the thing. So here I am looking at the timeline, trying to figure out, okay, right mouse button moves the time. I'm trying to figure out how to animate stuff. Keyframes. How do I automatic keyframe insertion for objects and bones? Insert keyframe. Alright, insert keyframe. There you go. No active keying set. What do you mean? Available B-bone shape delta location. I just go. You have to choose one of these. The whole character. Or just go the whole character. What? No suitable content. No suitable context info for active keying set. No, don't do that. So I've got this thing selected, right? And it says, what does that mean? What if I just go like location? Alright, location is a thing. So there's a key there, you can barely see the key. So then if I move to 100, and then I move this way, and then I go key there. Okay, location we can do, and then we go move back to there. And let's say we kind of move this around up to here, and then set a keyframe. And then at this point, we move this back to 0, 0, 0, and put a key there. Alright, there we go, we figured it out. And this, we're gonna change this to 0, 0, 0. So if we play the animation now, wow. Okay, we have to set the position and then key it. Successfully added 3 keyframes. And this one is 0. Alright, so alright, we found it. We found the keyframe button, it's there. And we have an animation. Great. Alright, good. So we did figure it out. It took us 2 tries. It took us 2 tries to figure out. And you can go to auto keyframing mode if you want to. Start frame, end frame. Alright, good. Okay, I mean, it's not that Dark Souls. I was saying how Blender is the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software, but we are figuring it out. Like it takes us 2 tries to figure out, as opposed to 1 try. But that's okay. It's okay. 2 tries is okay. But I mean, again, but I know how to use this sort of software, right? I've used Adobe Flash before, back when it was Macromedia Flash. Wow, that was a long time ago. And I've used like 3D Studio Max. So I've used this sort of software before. So it's not like this is new to me. And it still took us 2 tries. Alright, it's pretty good. It's not quite Dark Souls level, I suppose. So the timeline at the bottom, we understand that. An outliner in the top right. Outliner at the top right, this is just a tree view of everything that is in your scene. Yeah, right, so the scene is there, and then everything in here, right, cool. And I believe that means, okay, go to, oh, I see, this just goes straight into vertex mode like that. The arrow, I suppose, means it's animated. Can we get out of, alright, get out of vertex mode there. I mean, this is kind of handy. There's a lamp there. Blender render. OpenGL render image. Well, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. I'm not sure what I was expecting. But there you go. There's the there's the OpenGL render of that image. Okay. And then a properties editor at the bottom right. And there's a lot of properties. Look how many properties there are. This is crazy how many properties there are. Current properties. Render. Let me select this back. Image editor. Render animation audio. I mean, all the tools are here. And as you look at all these tools, you can see that there's a lot of tools. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in Blender once you figure out what the hell all this stuff is, right? So when you figure out what all this stuff is, it's gonna be amazing. Oh, real sky? Render background with a real horizon relative to the camera angle? Render image. Nope, that's not what. That's not the sky. Wait a minute. No, I clicked the sky. Where's the rest of the sky? Full anti-aliasing, full sample, alpha mode, render image. There's no sky though. I do understand I'm looking downwards. But the real sky is not what you think it is. Right. Again, like you click this and you think, well, that means the sky should be there. But no, it isn't. It isn't there. The sky is just not there. Which is what I mean by this being the Dark Souls of 3D editing software. Let me just move this down. Because like things just don't do what you think they would, right? Where's my rotate? Transform manipulators, scale, rotate. And we want it to be, no, local. Alright, rotate that up. Can we like, keep pressing the wrong thing. User perspective, window, not window. How do I change this window into the camera? View. I'm just pressing things. User perspectives. How do I change the view? Oh, hey, that's handy. Why is that there? And how do I put it back? I mean, that is useful. I'm just wondering. So how do I put it back? Is what I want to know. Okay. Okay, so how do I... This is actually really useful to have there instead of just down here in these tiny little things. How do I choose screen layout? View. Okay. Why is it down here? Cameras, active camera. Okay, there it is. Alright, found it, guys. And then rotation. Is it X? Alright, we can rotate the camera down. So what if I render this? There's definitely no real sky there. Alright, what if I render this? Real sky is not what you think it is. That button is not what you think it is. Dark Souls, man. Dark Souls. View is down here. Cameras, left, right, back, front, top, camera. Use preset view from the active camera. Alright, well, there's a lot of stuff here, and at some point we're gonna figure out enough to let us do stuff that's useful. Okay. I mean, as I'm clicking these buttons, I am learning more. I don't know if you're learning anymore. I'm learning more though. Alright, good. Properties are there. How do I close this again? So I open this, right? I can move this around, but I don't want to. How do I actually motion tracking background image? Transform orientation. Display. Only render. World background. The world background is gray. All object origins. Only render. Alright. Fascinating. Toggle quad view. Oh! Oh, look. That's useful. Oh, that's useful. Now we have top, front, and right. And then user perspective. This is actually useful. There's so many buttons. There's so many buttons. It's crazy. Are you supposed to memorize all this? Like, Are you just supposed to memorize all this stuff? I mean, this is just the default, right? There's also, for example, uh, game logic, which is a completely different setup. It's just a completely different setup. Sure. You know what I mean? Compositing, great. Animation. I mean, we do have some keyframes. 3D view full. Motion tracking even. I mean, video editing. There's video editing software here as well. That's crazy. Can I actually use this to edit videos? Or is it, what do you mean video editing? Like, how do I? 0 plus 1. Import. I don't even know what this means. Honestly, don't. Scripting. Oh, the scripting, if you want to do any programming. It uses Python. Well, that's good. Python is easier to use than C, in my opinion. But you know, that's just my opinion. All right, so there's a lot of buttons. Let's keep reading. All right, so we're getting somewhere. Components of an editor. In general, an editor provides a way to view and modify your work through a specific part of Blender. Editors are divided into regions. Regions can have smaller structuring elements like tabs and panels, with buttons, controls, and widgets placed within them. Dark Souls of 3D modeling software. Regions. The 3D view editor, yellow main region. Green is header. Blue is tool shelf. Purple is operator panel. Red is properties region. Is this overly complicated to you? It feels overly complicated. I mean, the thing is, like, 3D editing, 3D modeling software is complicated. But even by those standards, Blender is complicated. User interface principles. Non-overlapping. The UI is designed to allow you to view all relevant options and tools at a glance without pushing or dragging editors around. Oh, good. I mean, what it means is that everything is on screen at the same time is what it means. What this means is that everything is on the screen at the same time, and there's no clear indication as to what stuff. There's no hierarchy. There's no hierarchy of what's more important and what's less important, right? Everything's there at the same time and they're all the same size. So for example here, so the keyframing, for example, like, you know, when you're animating down here, the most important part of animating is inserting keyframes. And if the UI was made to be user-friendly, then the keyframe button would just be bigger than the rest. Like, the stuff you use most often would just be bigger than the stuff you use less often. But as you look at Blender, you will notice that everything is the same friggin' size. Every single button is the same size. And so there's no hierarchy of importance. And so you just don't know what's important and what's not. You just have to click on every single thing to figure it out. But they phrase it as all the tools and options are available at a glance. At a glance, everything is there. Non-blocking. Tools and interface options do not block the user from any other parts of Blender. Everything is there at once. Regardless of whether it's relevant to you right now, it's all there at once. Blender typically does not use pop-up boxes requiring users to fill in data before running an operation. Yeah, sure. You might think, well, good, like everything's there at the same time. The thing with the pop-up boxes is that if a thing requires you to do like 4 steps, for example, like if you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 before this thing works. If there are pop-up boxes, what it means is that you are forced to go through the 4 steps before the program will let you continue, and so you don't miss a step. But if there's a 4-step operation and there's no pop-up boxes, you click one, and then you don't do the other 3, the program doesn't stop. It doesn't force you to do the other 3 before you continue. It just continues. And so the thing you do is not finished, and it doesn't do anything useful to you until you do the other 3, but the program doesn't tell you that because there's no pop-up boxes. Non-modal tools. Tools can be accessed efficiently without taking time to select between different tools. Many tools use consistent and predictable mouse and keyboard actions for interaction. Mouse and keyboard. So you can't mouse only. You cannot mouse only this program. You have to learn the keyboard shortcuts. And tools can be accessed efficiently without taking time to select between different tools. So you can be doing different things without actually choosing the tool, or without knowingly choosing the tools. Like things just there's a whole lot of different mouse and keyboard buttons you can press, and they'll all do different things. And you just have to learn what those things are, right? It says you don't have to select between different tools. What they mean is that instead of going click scale and then click translate and then translate and then click rotate and then rotate, you just depending on which buttons you're pressing, you just do all 3. And you don't have to choose which tool you're using. But if you're not choosing the tool you're using, for the beginner who is just starting out, the beginner doesn't know what they're doing because they're not choosing the tool. They're just pressing buttons, and different things are happening depending on which buttons they press. So all this stuff means that it's efficient if you know exactly what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it's just a huge, confusing Dark Souls kind of 3D modeling software where there's just so much stuff going on. And if you're walking into Dark Souls for the first time, you have no idea what you're doing, and you just die over and over again. And this is what Blender basically is. Blender is the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software. And the thing about Dark Souls, I mean, going on a tangent here, even if you get good at Dark Souls, you sometimes think to yourself, why did I bother getting good at Dark Souls? So how does it benefit me to become good at Dark Souls? It really doesn't. It's not like it's for all the work and all the learning and all the stuff you have to put into getting good at Dark Souls. You get good at Dark Souls and it's like, alright, now I'm good at Dark Souls. How does it help my life? It doesn't. It's so that's kind of what it is. Hopefully if you get good at Blender, you can get a job doing 3D modeling work or something. Hopefully something good comes out of you becoming good at Blender. In which case it's better than Dark Souls. But it's not guaranteed. Customization. Blender also makes heavy use of keyboard shortcuts to speed up work. Yeah, keyboard shortcuts. The thing about keyboard shortcuts is that it's great if you've memorized them, and terrible if you haven't memorized them. These can also be customized in the key map editor. Not only can you use keyboard shortcuts, you can customize your keyboard shortcuts so that somebody else using your Blender will be completely confused. That's a bonus. So if somebody else sits on your computer and tries to use your customized Blender, they don't know anything. It's like a whole new Dark Souls with a whole new control scheme, and they have to learn it all over again from the start. Great, isn't it? Isn't this great? The theme colors. Blender allows for most of its interface color settings to be changed to suit the needs of the user. If you find that the colors you see on the screen do not match those mentioned in the manual, then it could be that your default theme has been altered. Well, just be thankful that your keyboard shortcuts have not been altered. Creating a new theme or altering a pre-existing one can be done by selecting the User Preferences editor and clicking on the Themes tab. We shouldn't do this. We should not do this, but I'm gonna do this. Themes. Holy crap. Presets. Back to black. No. Blender 2.4.x. Oh, that's brighter. It's brighter and more pink. Elysian. What was the theme before? Crap. What was the theme before? Flatty light. Holy crap. What is it with these? I mean, it hurts my eyes a little bit. So it's like, it's higher contrast. I get it, it's higher contrast. But why would you want higher contrast? Like, are you wearing like shades? Do you wear sunglasses when you model, and that's why you need it to be higher contrast? Graph. Hexagon. R theme. Science lab. Well, it is science lab. That does convey science lab to me. I just don't know if I... Soft image. But it's so low contrast, like everything's so bright. Are you sure this is soft image? I remember soft image being a bit darker than this. Although soft image I think also has themes. Ubuntu ambient. Alright, let's go back to default. Alright, let's go back. Let's not do anything crazy. I knew it was a bad idea. It was definitely a bad idea. Alright, let's get next. Screens! Screens are essentially predefined window layouts. Blender's flexibility with areas lets you create customized working environments for different tasks such as modeling, animating, and scripting. It is often useful to quickly switch between the different environments within the same file. See area controls for how to move frame borders, split, and consolidate areas. So if it's not enough that you have to learn where everything is, you can literally move everything around until you have no idea where anything is. And then you have to learn it all again after you move everything around. So you have the option of doing that. You have the option of customizing literally every single thing in the UI. Like, it's so amazing, and it's so flexible, and it's so powerful, and also so utterly confusing for a beginner. It's incredible. It's incredible both how powerful it is and how confusing it can be. The screen data block menu that lets you select the layout is located in the Info Editor's header, unless you've moved it somewhere else. Actually, you can't move it anywhere else. So it's always here. So this is where you change your thing. I'm not gonna touch it. Controls screen layout, a list of available screen layouts. See default screens. Add. You can add more. You click on the Add button, and a new frame layout will be created based on your current layout. Delete. You can delete the selected screen by using the Delete button. By default, each screen layout remembers the last scene it was used on. Selecting a different screen layout will switch to the layout and jump to that scene. Oh, real? Okay. So you have different scenes, right? So each file can have different scenes, which is different things. And it'll remember which scene you were working on. Can I add scene? Can I add a scene to this? Can I, like a view? Can I new open? How do I external data? How do I add a freaking scene? Scene. What is this? Data, display world. You can add new worlds. But how do you add new scenes? Can you? Oh my god. Add rigid body world. Mind-boggling. You would think that adding a new scene is more basic than adding a new world. But I found the add world button. I haven't found the add scene button. Render layer. Add a render layer. Now this is layers within the scene. What on earth is happening here? How do I... Wait, can you not add a new scene? File, new... okay, let's not do that yet. File... Mind-boggling. No idea what's going on. How do you add a scene? How do you? Alright, shortcuts. I don't want to learn shortcuts. To cycle between screens, use Control right and Control left. On Mac OS, you may need to disable the shortcuts for mission control in your computer's preferences. This can be found in System Preferences keyboard shortcuts. Disable the shortcuts for your computer so that you may make room for more shortcuts in Blender. Yes. Alright, default screens. 3D view full, a full screen 3D view used to preview your scene. Alright. Animation, making actors and other objects move about, change shape or color, etc. Compositing, combining different parts of a scene, background, actors, special effects, and filter them, e.g. color correction. Composite different parts of a scene and filter? What? Compositing. So there's the camera, there's the backdrop. What is this though? What is this? Oh, is this... I don't know what this is. Is this the output? Add layout. Frame. There's no groups. Distort net vector. Add color. Add input image. Oh, this is a tree view node. Frame. I can't edit. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Again, if it was intuitive, you would click stuff and you would learn. I just clicked a bunch of stuff and didn't learn a single thing. I have no idea what's going on. So this is compositing a scene. You take your modeling and you can kind of combine it with other things and you can render from it. Okay, let's not do that. Alright, let's go back to this. Default. The default layout used by Blender for new files, useful for modeling new objects. Game logic, planning and programming of games within Blender. I don't know why you would make a game within Blender. It seems... Why would you want to... I mean... So Blender also has game engine capabilities. But compared to other game engines like Unity and Unreal, why would you do it in Blender? I don't understand. Motion tracking. Useful motion tracking within the movie clip editor. Scripting. Documenting your work and or writing custom scripts to automate Blender. UV editing. Flattening a projection of an object mesh in 2D to control how a texture maps to the surface. Video editing. Cutting and editing of animation sequences. So we definitely need UV editing because UV is a bit of a problem for us to solve in Unreal. We definitely need default because we want to make shapes. The other stuff we probably don't need if we're using Blender as part of an Unreal workflow. Save and override. The screen layouts are saved in the blend file. When you open a file, enabling the load UI in the file browser indicates that Blender should use the file screen layout and overriding the current layout. See load UI. A custom set of screen layouts can be saved as part of the startup file. Let's not do that. But you can save the UI per file. Is basically what's going on. So different projects can have different UIs if you want, which just adds a whole extra level of complexity. Additional layouts. As you become more experienced with Blender, consider adding some other screen layouts to suit your workflow, as this will help increase your productivity. Oh god. So, yeah, you have to edit the UI to facilitate you editing your models. I mean, sure, if you use Blender that much, then maybe you should. So some examples, which, I mean, they don't give it to you, but some examples. For 3D views, top, front, side, and perspective, properties editor for editing. Right? Lighting, 3D views for moving lights, UV image editor for displaying render result, properties editor for rendering and lamp properties and controls. Materials, properties editor for materials editing, 3D view for selecting objects, outline, a library script if used, node editor if using node-based materials. Why don't they just give you these layouts? Why don't they just give you these layouts? They're like, well, you can have these layouts. You might find them useful to you. Sure, I might. Why don't you just give them to me by default? Painting. UV image editor for texture painting images. Texture painting image. 3D view for painting directly on object in UV face select mode. 3 mini 3D views down the side that have background reference pictures set to full strength. Properties editor. I mean, these sound useful, but we have to make them ourselves, because this is the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software. Imagine a Dark Souls game where you have to design the UI before you can play the game. Not only do you have to play the game, you have to make your own user interface in order to play the game. Oh wow, that'd be amazing. Maybe somebody should make that game. Imagine the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. So it's Dark Souls, except you have to fight your way through the UI before you can fight your way through Dark Souls. Amazing. Alright, areas. The application window is always a rectangle on your desktop. It is divided into a number of resizable areas. Sure. An area contains the workspace for a particular type of editor, like a 3D view editor or an outliner. I still don't know how to close this thing, by the way. Like, I opened this and I don't know how to close it again. Oh, you just push it all the way back. Alright, you push it all the way back. Click that to open it out and push it all the way back to close it. Okay. But we figured that out. I mean, it took us a while, but we figured it out after some time. And the question still remains, why would you want to push it back? Because there's so many useful things in here. I do realize that this is a duplication of this. So in a way, it's like it's duplicate functionality, but these are very useful functionalities. So I just don't understand why you would not have them. Anyway, there, that's how you close it. Cool. And the thing is, remember, I had done this before, and then I pulled it back out. I did this because in my mind, I thought, well, if this is how you close it, then by the time you get to here, it would just snap back. It would just snap in. But it doesn't. It doesn't snap in. It just stays open. But it's hidden and it stays open. But like you would think, I don't know, maybe I'm assuming, like, if it wasn't the Dark Souls of 3D modeling software or any software, because by the time you get to, like, you get there, you can still see it. So it's like, okay, it's there. I can see it. It's still there. But once you get to this point, there's nothing to see anymore. So at this point, you would think the UI would just snap it in. If it's meant to dock, or if it's meant to close up at some point, it would just snap close at this point. But it doesn't. So imagine if you go into someone's Blender and you just troll them, right? You just troll them and you just go like this. Oh, just like that. Just like that. Now they can't find it. Now they don't know where it is anymore. So it's like, they're like, wait, where's my button? Wait, where's my panel? I can't find my panel anymore. And it's like, it's just hidden. Why would it not snap close at this point? Right, you see what I mean? Why would it not snap close? Because it's not useful anymore. It snaps close there. Like literally when it's completely gone, then it snaps close. Anyway. Oh, it remembers. It remembers the last setting too. Let me just put it out there. Right, good. There, done, got it. Arranging. Blender uses a novel. By novel, they mean you've never seen it before and you'll never see it again anywhere else. Uses a novel screen-splitting approach to arranging areas. The idea is that you split up that big application window into any number of smaller but still rectangular, non-overlapping areas. That way, each area is always fully visible, and it is very easy to work in one area and hop over to work in another. Everything is always visible at all times. Well, I get it. So there's this thing bar at the top, this thing at the side, this thing at the bottom, this thing here. And if you want to, you can just add more windows. Oh wow, that's amazing. We just added a whole new window just by doing that. Amazing. Let me just close that again. No, I changed my mind. Go away. Go away. How do I go? No, go away. Close it. Crap. How do I get rid of it again? Oh crap, don't do that. Okay, I made another one. How do I remove this stuff? Dude, are you serious? Oh, real? Now I made another one? And now I made another one? No really, but how do you remove them? Join area. Wait, what? Join area. Join areas. Oh, you have to click it, alright. Alright, right click. Join area. And then click on once. No, come on, dude. Join area. Wait, what? Join area. Oh, this down here first. Alright, join this first. Alright, good. That's done. And join there, and then join area. I found it. Figured it out. Right click. Right click on the edge. Not that one. That one. And then you can split and join. Alright. Cool story, guys. It is novel. It is novel. Never seen it before. We'll never see it again. Changing the size. You can resize areas by dragging their borders with left mouse button. Simply move your mouse cursor over the border between two areas until it changes into a double-headed arrow. Then drag and click. Oh, click and drag, my bad. Splitting and joining. Area split widget. In the upper right and lower left corners of the area are the area split widgets. and they look like a little rich thumb grip. They do look like a little rich thumb grip. It's kind of funny. If both splits and it both splits and combine areas, when you hover over it, your cursor will change to a cross. No, it doesn't combine. It doesn't. No, you lied to me. It splits, but it doesn't combine. You have to right click to combine. Left mouse button and dragging it inwards split the area. You define the direction of that border by either dragging horizontally or vertically. In order to join two areas, left mouse button click and drag the area splitter outward. They must be the same dimension in the direction you wish to join. This is so that combined area space results in a rectangle. That's not what I experienced. That is not what I experienced. Alright, so here's two. It says you can just wait a minute. Oh, never mind, it's true. That didn't happen before. I swear that did I not do this before? Okay, never mind. I don't know. We didn't find it, that's for sure. I didn't. Sure, cool. Alright, okay, cool. Thanks. The area that will closed gets a dark overlaid with an arrow. Sure. Now you can select the area to be closed by moving the mouse over it. Release the left mouse button to complete the join. If you press escape or right mouse button before releasing the mouse, the operation will be aborted. Area options. Right mouse button on the border opens the area options. Split area, join area, yeah, we found it. We know. Confirm or cancel works as described above. Swapping the contents. You can swap the contents between two areas with control left mouse button on one of the splitters of the initial area, dragging it towards the target area and releasing the mouse there. The two areas do not need to be side by side, though they must be inside the same window. We can just swap them around. I'm not gonna do that, by the way. I'm just gonna control. We're never gonna do that, but it's how you do it. You control click. Duplicate area into new window. The new window is a fully functional window, which is part of the same instance of Blender. This can be useful, for example, if you have multiple monitors. A new window can be created from View Duplicate Area into New Window. There's View. What view? Oh, Views down here. View Duplicate Area in the New Window. Cool. Alright, there's a new window, guys. Oh, new window. Alright, let's close that. You can also create a new window from an existing area by shift left mouse button on the area splitter widget, then drag slightly. I understand keyboard shortcuts. Why would you need a keyboard shortcut for making new areas? You have keyboard shortcuts for things that you use all the time, right? So if you are, for example, drawing lines, like you're in a CAD program, you're just drawing a lot of lines, then you don't want to go line, click, click, line, click, click, line, click, click, line, click, click. Like that's a lot of mouse clicks, right? So if you can kind of simplify line into a keyboard shortcut, just go L. So now you have two hands, go L, click, click, L, click, click, L, click, click, L, click, click. So you are moving the mouse a lot less. So instead of move mouse, click, move mouse, click, move mouse, click, you just go L, click, move mouse, click. L, move, L, click, move mouse, click. L, click, move mouse, click. So you've reduced two mouse movements by changing the line tool into a keyboard shortcut. And every line you draw multiplies that the savings for the mouse movement savings from that shortcut. So that's what a shortcut does. A shortcut allows you to work more productively by reducing unnecessary movement. But then, you only need it for things you do a lot. For example, if you only ever draw one line, like if you spend 10 hours on a project and you only draw one line, you don't need line to be a shortcut because it literally saves you 1 second out of an hour. Whereas if you're drawing a million lines in your project and it saves you a second every time you use the line tool, then it saves you a million seconds, which is kind of crazy how many seconds you saved. Like you're literally saving hours and hours of time. If you draw a million lines, that is. So, but then, so that math, if you apply that to keyboard shortcuts for duplicating an area into a new window, how many times do you do this? Like, if you have a 10-hour project, how many hours do you spend duplicating an area into a new window? None. None. You use 0 hours. You do this maybe like twice. Like, if that, like most of the time you wouldn't even do it because you just use one window. And if you have like 2 windows, maybe you do it like, even if you customize your UI a lot, maybe over the course of one project you do it 5 times or 10 times. So having a keyboard shortcut for this doesn't really save you any time at all. So this is unnecessary complexity. This is unnecessary complexity. Unless you're constantly creating new windows and closing them, creating new windows and closing them, creating new windows and closing them. Like if you do that 1,000 times over the course of a project, and this keyboard shortcut saves you 1,000 seconds, it's still only saving you a few minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, even if you do it 1,000 times, it's still only saving you a few minutes. It's why? Why would this need a keyboard shortcut? All right, let's continue. Toggle maximize area. The maximized area fills the whole application window. It contains the info editor and the select area. What? You can maximize an area with the View Toggle Maximized Area menu entry. To return to normal size, use again menu entry or right mouse button on the editor's header and select Maximize Area and Tiled Area to return. In the Info Editor header, the Back to Previous button on the right of the menus also returns to tiled areas. A quicker way to achieve this is to use the shortcuts Shift Spacebar, Control Down, or Control Up to toggle between maximized and normal areas. What the hell does that even mean? So I can go Maximize Area. Oh, cool. And then Tile Area. Alright, cool. So in case this is too small, for example. Whoa, it's a massive timeline. And you can close it again. Is it really that important? Is this really that important? It's not view. Maximize. I don't. Is it important? Is it useful? I don't know. Toggle full screen area. The full screen area contains only the main region. The header's visibility can still be toggled with the shortcuts. To exit the full screen, move the mouse to the top right corner of the area to reveal the return icon, or use the shortcut. Why would this be useful? I don't understand. Alright, regions. An editor is subdivided into regions. Main region. At least one region is always visible. It's called the main region and is the most prominent part of the editor. Each editor has a specific purpose, so the main region and the availability of additional regions are different between editors. See specific documentation about each editor in the editors chapter. There you go. Header. A header is a small horizontal strip with a lighter gray background, which sits either at the top or bottom of the area. All editors have a header acting as a container for menus. and commonly used tools. Menus and buttons will change with the editor type and the selected object and mode. So we're talking about this stuff. So this is the header for this view, and then this is the header for this thing, and this is the header for this thing, and this is just the header for the whole thing. If you move the mouse over an area, the header of its editor changes to a slightly lighter shade of gray. This means that it is focused. All hotkeys you press will now affect the contents of this editor. The header can be hidden without F9. Why would you hide it? It's the most important part of your thing. Why would you hide it? Alright, so that is slightly lighter gray and slightly darker gray as I move the mouse back and forth. Alright. Oh wait, no, this is a different thing. Okay, this is a different thing with this thing. Alright, if I maximize this area, how is that useful? It's not. Alright, collect tile areas. Alright, well it's pretty subtle. It's pretty subtle. This light gray, dark gray thing. Maybe I want to change this to a different color. This is really subtle. Guys, this is really subtle. User preferences. User interface. Header option toggle. Menu black, menu item. How do I make it so that the headers... Oh wait. There's no default here, by the way. I don't, and you know what? Let's just not do that. Let's just not do that. Tool shelf. The tool shelf by default on the left side contains the tool settings on the left side, that side. Well, on your screen it's that side, the far side over there. T toggles the visibility of the tool shelf region. Why would you toggle it? Why would you? I don't know. It's like, here's some of the most useful buttons. You can hide them. Now your most useful buttons are hidden. But why? But why would you hide your most useful buttons? Operator panel. The operator panel is a region that is part of the tool shelf containing only one panel. In the 3D view, it displays the properties of the last operator executed, and in the file browser, the file import-export options. It's this thing down here, by the way, operator. So the last thing you did, you can make changes to down there. Properties region. The properties region is by default on the right side, which is on your screen. Hold on, up there, there, this there, this one. In the 3D view, oh, hold on, my bad. It contains panels with settings of objects within the editor and the editor itself. In toggles the visibility of the properties region. Why would you do that? Oh, is this thing? Oh, never mind. It's not. I thought it was this. Actually, it's this. It's the properties. Arranging. Scrolling. A region can be scrolled vertically and or horizontally by dragging it with the middle mouse button, which doesn't work for some reason. If the region has no zoom level, it can be scrolled by using the wheel while the mouse hovers over it. Changing the size. Well, actually, does it work? Alright, so this middle mouse button. No, the middle mouse button doesn't work. Changing the size and hiding. Resizing regions works the same way as areas by dragging their border. To hide a region, scale it down to nothing. Okay. A hidden region leaves a little plus sign, see picture. By left mouse button on this, the region will reappear. The tool shelf and properties region have a shortcut assigned to toggle between hide and show. But why would you hide them?